Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's do a relationship roundup today to supersize and grow your business. Why do I say today? Because every day this week, we are looking at one of the 9 life framework areas, and we're doing a roundup or an assessment or an audit or a review, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a roundup this year just for the fun of it, because it's kind of got that rodeo vibe. And when I was younger, much younger, my family did a rodeo for a few years in our small town. Long story, not for today. So what the heck does this roundup consist of? First and foremost, we're going to look at our relationships, all of our relationships over the past year. We're going to ask ourselves, what are some of the wins? What are some of the things that are going really, really well in our relationship? I say get at least 3 and write them down. Why? Because we want to have more relationship wins going forward and continuing right now. And we do that by being grateful for the things that are working. And by acknowledging and celebrating our wins, we create more of those in our life for any area and aspect of our life. But today we're talking about relationships. So we're looking for at least 3 relationship wins. Secondly, we're going to look at, well, what kind of lessons did I learn about relationships this year? Again, if you can come up with 3, that is awesome. But the focus on our lessons learned is to focus on the positives that come out of all of the situations that we encounter throughout our year and throughout our lifetime, right? If we can extract and acknowledge and become aware of the lessons that we've learned, then they stick longer than if we just go through our life without paying attention or being self-aware. And this is about forgiving ourselves as much as forgiving other people, because everybody's just out there in the world doing the best they can with what they've got right now. And if I remember that, I'm a lot more likely to go with the flow of what's happening in different situations and with different people than if I'm judging or criticizing all the time. Thirdly, we're going to look at, and we're just going to acknowledge what is currently still our biggest relationship challenge, our biggest block, obstacle, challenge, problem, whatever. Maybe you are actually, like I was for a lot of years, in the wrong relationship with the wrong person. At some point, we acknowledge that and we say, okay, I know this, I've known this for a long time. What am I going to actually do about it? And then finally, what's next? We ask ourselves, and we're going to come up with 3 things in the area of relationships that we want to have happen for us next year, by the end of next year. So next year when we're doing our roundup, which will probably have a different name by then again, you know me, we want to be able to see if we can check those off our boxes. Yeah, those are now wins because we dealt with them. Same with the challenge and the lessons learned. Here's how my litmus test for this. I look at a lesson that I've had or an experience that I've had that I noticed was repeating. I'll give you an example. About every 3 years in my corporate career, I start to get really bored. I'd go into a new job. I would do all the things I needed to do. I'd learn everything I needed to learn. I'd put the processes and systems in place to improve that function. And when that was done, I'd make sure that it was clicking along and that other people were running it. But then I was like, well, what do I do next? And I discovered that I had this repeating pattern that like every 3 years, I needed a change and something different industry, different business, different role, etc., to keep going and growing for me. And once I realized that, I was a lot more productive with how am I going to use these 3 years to create something that's going to last a long time, create a legacy in this area of the business that I was working in or in this particular business. And by recognizing that, it became really easy to control that and not sabotage myself or make mistakes or get laid off or fired, etc. All of those things happen to me, of course. So what is next? What do we want to do with this? I would love if people are willing to share any of these or all of these in the comments below. The power of writing this down, never underestimate this. Even if you just have a little notebook like this that you keep, do this for a couple of years and see what a positive impact it has on you. And I'll tell you one of the most thrilling things about doing a roundup or a review or an audit of your business and your life is you actually acknowledge how much you've grown. Or if you haven't, guess what? It's a huge wake-up call to say, okay, we had planned these 3 things. We didn't do any of them this year. We picked different priorities. Now, if we consciously picked different priorities, that is a win. If we just didn't do it because we didn't make these things that we said were important to us a priority. And I say we have to look at everything, and if it doesn't match our core values, if it doesn't match our long-term vision of where we want the business to go, it's just an automatic no. And I never apologize for that. I think that's a win. Every time we take something off our list that isn't in alignment with who we are and where we want to go with our business, that is a good thing, because the world is full of infinite opportunities and we cannot possibly take advantage of them all. So we want to pick and choose the ones that are best for us and our business. All right. Any questions about this? Hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.